Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, hashtag life change will occur.
Is this my car?
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments,
This is ridiculous!
there's one of these.
Is this my car?
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, hashtag life change will occur.
Is this my car?
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments,
This is ridiculous!
there's one of these.
Is this my car? What? This is ridiculous.
This can't be happening!
This can't be happening.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Shut up.
Shut up!
That's why State Farm is there, with car insurance for when things go wrong, but also here with car loans to help life go right. State Farm.
Talk to State Farm agent Marty Size or Michelle Rudolph in Albuquerque today.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rawlins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Good morning. Welcome to the Sports Desk live on Comcast Channel 26, also streamed on Facebook. I'm your host, Ed Nunez. With us today as our very special guest, ProView color analyst for many sports, basketball, football, softball. He's probably done it all. Also, a very good friend of mine, Roger Holian, also very connected to the UNM football program back in the day, Lobo chaplain for many years, and now that Coach Gonzalez, Danny Gonzalez, was named head coach, you know all these staff. Jason Lensmeyer, the offensive line coach, who used to be the very good offensive lineman here, by the way. I don't know if people forgot how good he was. And kind of a rare thing for Coach Lensmeyer, coached with the Aggies, then came back, and then, we're glad to have him back. Yeah. Very glad. It's a rare thing, though, to go coach with the Aggies. Coach Weir, right? Coach Weir, the UNM head basketball coach, coaching at New Mexico State, and then coming here as a head coach here. That's a rare thing. Yeah, and I remember when Coach Weir came. William Benjamin, my favorite Aggie, right? My favorite Aggie, and it's a short list. He's number one, and the late Lou Richardson's number two. So Will and I go back and forth a lot because he's always sending me Aggie memes and go Aggies. William Benjamin, by the way, back in the day when he played for the Aggies, that was one good player.
Yeah, I'm sure
he was
he
a very good player. But so, anyway, going back to that, you're excited, and we're going to talk also to you about, you had a heck of a week last week, man. You had a heck of a week. You got to do some great basketball games, Bosque Prep and Sandia Prep.
That was fun. That was fun.
What a heck of a game that was.
Yeah, I did that.
Talk about what else you did.
3 days in a row. It was some sports thing. Did the Bosque, got to see at Prep, and that's always a nice atmosphere. And then got to go to the brewery to meet, kind of the meet and greet for Coach Gonzalez and staff, and everybody that was anybody there. I mean, athletic director Eddie Nunez, Rocky showed up. Of course, Rocky has his own little entourage, old friends. He's been here so long, it's home to him. I sat in the booth with Larry Chavez Jr. Of course, Larry Chavez, the Chavez family are good friends of mine, lifelong friends. Actually, our kids played football together, and he's the Dream Style sponsor, of course. So we sat in the booth, got to see a bunch of people. I mean, Coach Troy Reffett and all the staff were there. And it was really a lot of energy. I mean, just an amazing amount of energy that Coach Gonzalez's hire has done here. And I think Eddie Nunez, the athletic director, kind of hit it out of the park. This was a fantastic hire for New Mexico. You know, I heard when there, you know, all the rumblings of who possibly could be here, and I was really hoping that Danny would get hired because I knew what it would do for the community. The fact that he played at Valley, walked on at UNM, walked on with my son Daniel Torza. So my son Daniel Torza, him and Larry Chavez are all dear friends from young, and saw him become a graduate assistant, eventually go to San Diego State, and then become the defensive coordinator. Runs the 3-3-5, the same defense that Rocky runs. And Danny is just a solid guy. He's a Lobo. I mean, hands down. It's interesting watching Rocky Long. I was thinking about this when I was walking in. Of course, we were running a little bit late. But I remember Rocky Long when UNM hired him from UCLA. Rocky made a statement that the Lobo job was the only job he would take as a head coach. Because Rocky, frankly, doesn't like being a head coach. I mean, he likes football.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he did a great job. And of course, he's the winningest coach at San Diego State, winningest coach at New Mexico. And Danny Gonzalez is much like a Rocky Long version 2, even though he's his own self, own person, and he's had his success, of course, at Arizona State with Herm Edwards and Marvin Lewis, by the way. People don't know that. Of course, Herm Edwards was the NFL coach for the Jets, and then Marvin Lewis was the Cincinnati Bengals. So they have 2 NFL staff on there. And for UNM to pursue him and to watch the buzz around the atmosphere in the Lobo land here is just wonderful. People are excited about Lobo football again. I suspect they'll fill that stadium. And boy, I tell you what, Coach Gonzalez has all hands on deck. These coaches hit the ground running as far as recruiting is concerned. And if you look at some of his hires, I think you're going to see a team very much like the quintessential physical teams that Rocky put on the football field, where there's a lot of hitting. I'm sure the linebacker, I know they recruited some linebackers. They're going to love Rocky Long's defense. Of course, if we go down the list of the hires that he made, the coordinators are a big part of the staff.
Huge.
Yeah, you know, when I used to coach football in high school, you know, I appreciated being a positions coach. You know, that's your receivers and things like
Running
that.
backs.
But it's your coordinators who make the decisions that cost or make games. So for him to get Rocky Long back is huge. People were asking me, do you think Rocky's going to come back after he retired? I saw his press conference at San Diego State, and he was very careful with his words. As of now, I'm not the head coach here. And for Coach Gonzalez to reach out to him and offer the position tells me volumes of their relationship. You know, I mean, you got a bang for your buck as far as a hire is concerned. And, you know, people have to understand this. Rocky Long loves New Mexico so much, as does Danny Gonzalez. He would take a pay cut. I mean, he was making close to $1 million a year, and he was that successful. I mean, they just approved, the city finally approved a brand new stadium, $250 million stadium. Of course, they were playing in Qualcomm, where the Chargers play. Now the Chargers are in LA. But the city and the business people finally got on board, and they approved that. And, you know, Rocky came into town. We were talking about this. He used to always text me, I have sideline tickets for you, Raj. One thing I love about Rocky Long and Danny Gonzalez, they're extremely loyal to their friends. And when Rocky says he has friends here, we're talking, he's just a loyal man. And I remember talking outside of Todim the day before they were having their walkthrough, and he said that the University of New Mexico facilities were like 10 times better than San Diego State.
Wow.
Yeah. They were
What does that
practicing
tell
on
you?
old.
What does
Yeah.
that tell
So, you know, you hear about what we don't have at New Mexico. I'm telling we have a lot. And that's a tribute to those who've funded it, Todim, the new football. And how about Larry Chavez, and senior and junior, upgrading the facilities? I don't know if you've been there. The football
Not recently.
offices, they are first class. And so the weightlifting facility, Coach Gonzalez gets hired. First thing he does, he opens up the football facility to all the teams. You know, when Coach Davey was here, they had it only for a football team, and then the other athletes would go practice at it's a big, kind of a big tent, not a big tent, it's a facility, it was separate. So already,
There's some pictures of you there.
yeah, that
As
was
the Lobo chaplain.
yeah, that was, Yeah, that was my time with New Mexico. Of course, I was the team chaplain for 13 years. And basically, guys, you know,
Great action shot.
oh,
there.
thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. I just picked some of those up so the viewers could see those. Getting back to the facilities, New Mexico has a lot going for it. I mean, think about it. We have beautiful weather. Everybody that comes to Albuquerque falls in love with the weather. Yeah, we're like any big city. We have our crime issues. Every city has crime issues. But I tell you what, when Danny Gonzalez got hired here, I mean, he texted me. He's supposed to be with us here shortly. But he texted me, and I texted him, would you be interested in doing it? He filled in. One of your guys fell
Right.
through.
Yeah. One of
And
my
he
guests,
texted me, and I said, well, let me ask, would you be interested in having Coach Gonzalez? I know him, and text him. He said, I'm at LAX airport. I'll be there. I mean, what's that say about
Yeah,
it?
I was surprised that, because other coaches, you're lucky if you get one interview maybe
Yeah.
during your time as a host of any show.
Yeah.
Lucky to get one.
Well, that says a lot about him.
Right.
But he's hit all these different, I mean, guys, you have to understand how different it is under this regime versus the previous regimes. Us doing ProView networks, I used to do interviews with coaches down south, Coach Bradley, and I mean, we're talking guys that state champions. And the last administration gave the high school coaches minimal attention. Sure, they went after big athletes. Everybody's going to go after the big stars, the big guys, the 4 stars that all the schools are looking at. But let me tell you something about the stories I heard. Rocky Long used to go into their living rooms and have dinner with them. And that spoke volumes to these Las Cruces, Oñate, Mayfield, these big programs down south. That speaks volumes of the commitment that they had for New Mexico. And I remember years ago, Rocky texted me, I love New Mexico. I go, I know you do. And New Mexico loves you. And it's home. And now at the presser, the meet and greet, we're talking, and man, Rocky just seems so relaxed, and he's home. But if we look at all the different hires Coach Gonzalez brought in, Derek Wareham, the offensive coordinator, he was at Texas last year. And he was under Bob Davie a couple years.
Tight ends coach in Texas, right?
Yeah, he was tight ends coach at Texas, and he was the run coordinator for Bob Davie. At that time, they were leading the nation. Think about that. Mm. Then you bring in Jason Lensmeyer as the offensive line coach. People don't realize, or they forget, that Jason Lensmeyer came that close to playing in the NFL. And he's the kind of guy probably never tell you that. But there was 5 guys on that offensive line. They were the largest offensive line in college football. What do you think Dontrell Moore, why he had 1,000-yard rushing seasons for 4 or 5 years straight? He set the all-time leading rushing list. Mm-hmm. Robert Turner went to play pro. He played the longest, I believe. Claude, Ryan Cook. And how about Ryan Cook? Here's a guy from Cibola High School who walks on with his brother Eric, who also played a year or 2 for the Redskins. And this is what made Rocky Long so successful. I remember hearing a video. I watched a press conference from San Diego State one time, and he said something that really caught my ear. And it told me his success formula. He said, any coach can see a kid on film, but it takes a special coach to see a kid on film that we can develop, that we can make better. Perfect example, Ryan Cook. How about Dr. Nick Spiegel? 6'6", all 200 pounds of him. Single scholarship offer from La Cueva. Nick and I are great friends. I love Nick. I love Nick and his family. He's got boys too. I'll probably be pretty big. But he goes on to play and develop as an outside linebacker. He ends up playing for the Cleveland Browns for 2 years. And the only reason he wasn't playing, after that, he hurt his back.
Very good special teamer.
Yeah, and long back, he's 6'6". But you can go down the list, and if you look at Rocky Long teams, how many guys are playing in the pro now? A lot.
Right.
A lot. Rashad Penny for the Seahawks before he tore his ACL this year. There's a ton of players. That tells me a lot about development. So I was really thrilled when Coach Gonzalez actually brought in James Carson, who's the director of athletic performance. He's a young up-and-coming coach, strength coach. And here's the reality. When a new coach comes in, he can choose certain positions. And the person that's there, they end up looking for another job. That's the reality.
Right,
that's college sports.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the freedom a head coach has. But I was told a story years ago that we had one coach, Rocky Long, had players, about 35 to 40 of them could clean. You know what the clean is? Over 40 pounds. Excuse me, over 40. Anyway, 40. Over 300 pounds. Because the record's like a little bit over 300 by Jeremiah Lobato, another walk-on from Rio Grande. And I know him and his wife Chantel real well. But under another coach, I'm going to say the coach, we had 10 to 12. Think about that.
Yeah.
And I remember watching that team, the offensive line, when I saw Aggies pushing back Lobos, and the old strength coach told me we're in trouble because they went to a different system. Coach Paulson was one of the keys to the success of the New Mexico program. He was the strength coach here for many years. We used to have a Beastmaster Award, and they had a Night of Champions that Danny Gonzalez is going to restart up, which is awesome. Community's invited. You get to see all these guys, a lot of testosterone. They pump up the players, but the players are excited, and you get to see like 300-400 pound bench presses. But I tell you what, he's reversing everything he's bringing back everything that worked. And now you combine that with the new athletic director, like with Eddie Nunez. I have major respect for him. I commented on Twitter. I saw that evidently they have something that they do once a year. Somebody at work, Jessica Otero, told me she used to work there. She works with him at the ministry, but worked for UNAM Athletics for a short time. And she told me today they've been doing this every year. I said, wow, they haven't been promoting it. And so you have Eddie Nunez calling, and all the Lobo athletes calling the donors and thanking them for their support.
No, that's we're going to take a break, Roger, and we'll be back and talk more Lobo football after these messages on the Sports Desk.
Played over to Madrid, plays it across the box off the dasher. It's settled, shot up by Garcia, trickles in, goal.
Chavez blocked at the rim. And here's Dorian Lewis to Watson.
Shot on and just wide, big deflection, goal.
With his first field goal. Look at that. That's gorgeous.
Another game you can go have 25 turnovers in and win.
Get that out of here, Watson says.
Here comes Hodnett all the way. He's blocked in return.
Dickey, did he get it off? He did, and he hit it. They're really... Oliveras. Wild three, and it hit.
Another steal nearly by Hiron. It is a steal. Avalos ahead to Hiron. The two-hand hammer by Hiron. I knew he was going to put that one down.
ProView Networks tonight.
District match up there.
Davidson took it away in transition. Might be time for a jam. Yes.
Oh!
Big Barton, watch him, coach. Watch the inbounder.
Dumas Sanchez in the corner.
Back to Barton with 2.4 seconds left. Fires for the win.
And he got it!
It's good.
Oh my God!
On the last second shot.
He did. Oh my God!
Bakes it in from 25 feet and watch the celebration right in front of us. What a shot by Barton. He was double teamed and somehow found a way to get it in. Ramos to Gaxiola, high window for the win. It's good. It counts. Gaxiola with the game winner for a Driscoll Heritage.
The Sports Desk is proudly presented by Car Crafters.
It's like it never happened.
Car Crafters, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened?
Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
What is glamour? Frailty. What is desire? Diamonds. They say a life lived without passion is hardly worth living.
Ma'am? Ma'am? Ma'am?
Dang, this one made me feel all special.
The world-famous Laguna Burger is beautifully handcrafted. A burger that's created from certified Angus beef, sinfully cooked to juicy perfection, and garnished with New Mexico's Hatch green chili. Tempt your taste buds with mouth-watering fresh ingredients.
Cut! We're gonna need another Laguna Burger. Try the irresistible, world-famous Laguna Burger. Visit thelagunaburger.com. It's fresh with a kick. Take 32.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, hashtag life change will occur.
Is this my car?
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments,
This is ridiculous!
there's one of these.
Is this my car? What? This is ridiculous.
This can't be happening!
This can't be happening.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Shut up!
Shut up!
That's why State Farm is there, with car insurance for when things go wrong, but also here with car loans to help life go right. State Farm.
Talk to State Farm agent Marty Size or Michelle Rudolph in Albuquerque today.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
The world-famous Laguna Burger is beautifully handcrafted. A burger that's created from certified Angus beef, sinfully cooked to juicy perfection, and garnished with New Mexico's Hatch green chili. Tempt your taste buds with mouth-watering fresh ingredients.
Cut! We're gonna need another Laguna Burger. Try the irresistible, world-famous Laguna Burger. Visit thelagunaburger.com. It's fresh with a kick. Take 32.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Sports Desk live on Comcast Channel 26, also streamed on Facebook. With us as our special guest is Roger Holian, ProView color commentator on many sports. On the line with us is UNM head football coach Danny Gonzalez. Coach, thanks so much for joining us.
No problem, guys. Thank you for having me. Sorry, it's a little loud in the background. We're at the airport.
Coach, you know, you've got a lot of great recruits coming in. Roger Holian just broke it down about the event at BJ's. Very excited about what's going on with Lobo football. You want to talk briefly about the recruits that you brought in, or you're bringing in?
You know, we're really excited about the class that we signed. We only had 9 days of actual recruiting time to put this class together, and I thought the coaches did an outstanding job of identifying some talent that was still out there that was not signed from the early signing day, and then bringing those guys out on trips and showing them what we're doing here with our program and getting them to be interested enough to want to be Lobos. And it's been just an awesome 2-week event. We gave the coaches a little bit of time off after signing days. I mean, we have a family tradition with us. We take our kids to Disneyland every year right after signing day because there's just so much time involved in all the recruiting aspects of it. So the coaches are doing that. Some of their coaches are buying houses and moving in. So it's been a great time for Lobo football right now.
Coach, Roger said that you and your staff hit the ground running. There's no question about that. But I think the thing that excited us, Roger loves Lobo football. You can tell he's got a passion for it. I told you when I saw you at the Lobo basketball game a couple of weeks ago, I've been a fan since '70. But the culture that you're going to try to reinvent, not reinvent so much, but it's going to be a Lobo culture and a community culture. Talk a little bit about that.
You know, we're trying to recreate some time where this program has been successful. When we were here before, as a player and as a coach, we competed for the conference championship. We finished second 4 times, and we just wanted to reestablish what we had before and try and win one of those championships for our school.
Go ahead.
Outstanding. Now, Coach, you're recreating a lot of stuff that was successful in the past. Night of Champions, reaching out to the alumni, things that have been so refreshing to the community, to see the New Mexicans recruited, high school athletes wanting to come here and play. What would you say is the key to the energy?
You know, I think the key to the energy is just being involved with the community. I think our coach has done a great job. I mean, we've been going to basketball games, and you saw the event that you talked about the other night at BJ's on signing day.
Yep.
There was a big community draw there. I mean, just getting out and getting involved and being a part of the town. I mean, I think that was one of the things I told the coaches was, you know, we really need to be invested. This is our town. It's our team. It's our city. And that means everybody. That's not just the coaches and the football players. It's everybody that it's going to take to be involved to be able to get us to where we want to go.
Coach, you know, again, the hiring of Rocky Long is so big for the program. Rocky Long, again, one of the greatest UNM option quarterbacks. I remember listening to Mike Roberts back in the day when he played here. One of the most successful coaches here and at San Diego State. How big was the hire of Rocky Long as the defensive coordinator here?
You know, I thought it was huge. Just the idea of having him be on the staff with me, knowing all the experience that he had as a head coach over the last 20 years, and being able to help me at any time that I need something that comes across my desk that I may not be familiar with. You know, I've got a hand to lean on that has been through it. Plus, his heart's here. I mean, he had numerous opportunities to go other places for a lot more money than what we were able to pay him, but this is where he wants to be, and he wants to help me try and build this back up to where it was before and even better. And this is where, I think this is where he's going to retire, so it's awesome to have him here, awesome to have him part of our staff, and just help me with this whole process.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, I know you're real busy with the family, Sandra and the kids. What a great blessing to be able to go out to Disneyland. And I, for one, am so thrilled and excited. I think the Eddie Nunez, the president of UNM, everybody's behind you, behind the staff, the team, and we're hoping to fill the stadium this fall. And just enjoy your day off, Coach.
Thanks, guys. You know, thanks for having me on, and thanks for helping to spread the news of Lobo football. I mean, I keep saying it's going to take everybody. Like you said, Eddie and the president have been unbelievable in everything that they've afforded us so far in this process. They promised us that, you know, they're going to help and do everything they can, which they have. And we talk about resources. Like you said, if we fill that stadium up, there'll be plenty. And that is the plan. The reception has been unbelievable. You guys, Ed, thank you for being a longtime Lobo supporter and to continue that and help us build this thing up. And Roger, you've been unbelievable. I mean, I played with your son and just your dedication to the program over the last 20 years has been amazing. So we need more guys like you guys to help us continue to build this thing up. Thank you for everything you do for us. Thank you for having me on. Go Lobos.
Thank you, Coach. Go Lobos.
You know, again, Coach UNM head football coach
Have a
Danny
good day.
Gonzalez joining us on the line. It's rare that we do a phone call on the TV program, but you know what? Look, if you listen to Coach Gonzalez and you spoke so highly and eloquently about him and the program he's trying to build here, you just heard it right there. So if you're not enthused, I am. Again, he's from here. He went to Valley High School. He played under Rocky Long, and I wanted to ask him this, and I'll get him on later to ask him. He coached under Herman Edwards at Arizona State and with Marvin Lewis. And for those of you that don't know, Herman Edwards, the former Philadelphia Eagle, right, the great Philadelphia
Jets.
Eagle, also coached at the Jets.
Oh, excuse me. Okay, that's right.
He played with the Eagles.
That's right.
But
You're right.
Miracle of the Meadowlands, Joe Pisarcik
That's right.
fumbled.
Forgot about that.
Who picked it up to score? Herman Edwards. Miracle of the Meadowlands.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember that. Joe Pisarcik,
yeah.
the former Aggie quarterback. So there's some kind of, interesting little,
yeah.
the irony. But Herm Edwards, again, a great coach, but a great man. We've seen him, what a great man he is, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think that Coach Gonzalez has learned under Coach Long, Coach Lewis, and Coach Edwards? Look at the enthusiasm he has as far as respect for other people in the community and where he's from.
Yeah.
He understands that. He gets it right away, right? He's not big-timing people. He's wanting to bring everybody in the fold.
Oh, man, I can't tell you. If you love the program, you've got to be thrilled and excited. It's just wonderful to have one of our own, somebody who bleeds New Mexico and is from here, who played here, who's had blood, sweat, and tears. He graduated with 2 degrees here, and he's got a beautiful family. Sandra and his daughters, I believe his 2 sons are freshmen at Arizona State. He's a family man. He's reaching out to the high school coaches. He's reaching out to the business community. And I tell you what, it sure makes a public relations or marketing at UNM much easier having a coach who's willing to roll his sleeves up, get involved in community, and take the time. I know he's busy. I mean, as a matter of fact, I was at the New Mexico Bowl, and him and Brian Urlacher was there. And Brian and I are good friends. I did his wedding years ago. And it's funny because I walked up to him, and my glasses fell off. I had some Ray-Bans. And they fell off, and they were both laughing, and Brian went and picked them up, and I said, "Oh, thank you for picking my glasses up." And I hugged Brian, and then I talked to Coach Gonzalez, and he said, "Roger, look at my phone." He had 197 texts that he had to still answer. So he was assuring me, "I get your text, and I try not to bother him." And how's this? I said, "Coach, listen, I get calls from former players. I got a call 2 days ago from Casey Carrier, remember, running back. He's getting married. He wants me to do his wedding. I've done a ton of Lobo weddings. And he goes, you're the only one I want doing it." So that was cool. But he's reaching out to me. But then I get other coaches who are contacting me. One kid local, and he wants to be a Lobo. And he's being recruited by California. He's getting Washington State. He wants to be a Lobo. When does that happen? They want to play him. They want to play for Rocky Long. They want to play for Danny Gonzalez. I'm so excited about the staff that's here. Now the work begins. Of course, you got to put the time in the weight room, develop these guys. And Coach Gonzalez made it very clear. He said, "Listen, we've got over 30 seniors. You remember Bob Davie had all those 17 to 18 junior college that came last year. Well, those guys are seniors." And he said, "We'll have a bump in the second year. This is a marathon, not a sprint. So you got to be patient with the Lobo program. You don't build a program overnight. It takes time. But I tell you what, it sure helps to have a captain on the ship. Strong. I mean, look at the staff. Lensmeyer. How about Troy Reffett? Troy was the defensive back for many guys that went pro, and he's back. He's coaching the safeties. So you have Rocky running in the 3-3-5. How about David House? David House from Rio Rancho. He's coaching the linebackers. David House has got state championship pedigree. That's Danny's brother-in-law. I mean, you can just look at the pedigree that here. Brandon Blackman from the cornerbacks, David House, Jason Lensmeyer, Troy Reffert, Jordan Somerville, and James Carson, both from Arizona State. Greg Schwarzkopf is director of recruiting, and he's the guy that's, I believe, the only holdover from Bob Davie's staff. And so it's exciting. It's an exciting time to be a Lobo. I mean, if you love football, you love college football, and you want to support Danny Gonzalez, please go to golobos.com and buy season tickets and help support. You cannot beat. It's inexpensive. It's like $8 to $10 a game. And you go out and you have a great time. They have a beautiful Videotron. You take your family out. I know they're going to be doing a lot of different special events this year to reach out to families. And I expect that the stadium's going to be filled. I was here and you were here when we had 35,000 strong at every game.
Yes, I was.
What a great time to be a Lobo. So,
you know, I got to say this too. I talked to Coach Gonzalez about that when we talked. I remember 45,000 against New Mexico State. I remember that he every time I said the attendance, he mentioned the date. Rice, 38,000 in 1997. I remember all those, and he remembered it. He remembered every date there was.
Okay, let me tell you something about Coach Gonzalez. A lot of people don't know. Larry Chavez was telling me this. Larry Chavez Jr. He went to 8th grade with him. Danny Gonzalez, Coach Danny Gonzalez, has an incredible memory and recall. He reminds me of another friend. This guy, unbelievable things he remembers. Oh, don't you remember we did that at Highland in 8th grade or in 9th grade? And I look at you like, what? What? You remember like an elephant. That's how Danny Gonzalez is.
Don't know his memory.
And he doesn't forget his friends. He's just like Rocky.
Important total recall there.
Yeah.
Total
And
recall.
New Mexicans are they're gonna love this
that
coach.
guy. I think they're on a good thing. We're going to cut it short today. That's going to do it for the Sports Desk. For producer Alden Niawani, our very special guest, and my close friend Roger Holian. Special thanks to UNM head coach Danny Gonzalez for calling in. We'll be back next Tuesday on the Sports Desk.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.